Okay, welcome to another Tools for Motivation live training session with another special guest. You can see her on the top left corner of the screen, Sharon Sheldon from Content Sparks. Sharon, say hi.
Hi. Hey, everybody.
So I'm not going to do a huge intro. If you saw the invite, you probably read a little bit about Sharon's background. For just so everybody knows, Sharon and I have been business partners, friends, associates, all of the above for many years now. In fact, we first met, Sharon, had to be at a conference about a decade ago, maybe even 11 years ago.
More. I think it was more.
Yeah, and we've been doing business together since. We for those of you that follow both of us, you can see we run our businesses in very similar ways. We like to do a lot of educational based content, give a lot of stuff away for free because we just know that the folks that gravitate to that will probably run with it and they'll buy our products and everybody kind of wins. So when Sharon agreed to do this, I was fired up, huge, because her material is so amazing, not only her content, but just educational material. In fact, Sharon, I don't know if you know this, in one of my email broadcasts last year, I was talking about repurposing slides or something like that, and I cheated and I used one of your YouTube videos in my email podcast because I did mine in Mac and you're on Mac with Keynote, and yours was PowerPoint. I forget the tutorial, but I got a lot of replies, so thank you, and I'm having you back to steal more of your thunder here today. So with no further ado, Sharon, I'm going to pass it over to you to talk about challenges.
Okay. Well, I'm going to be first. Thank you so much for having me on and giving me this opportunity to help everybody with challenges, because it's a challenge.
Absolutely.
Obviously. And I know that challenges are one of the most powerful things for building your audience and for people who don't like selling, basically, which is probably most of you don't like to be really salesy. And doing something like a challenge is a great way to build an audience and be helping people, which we all love to do, and then be just making it the logical next step to work with you because they've seen how much you can help already. So that's one of the great things about challenges. There's lots of other things too, which I'm going to go into. Now, I have a big slideshow that I'm going to be sharing. So I'm going to be sharing my screen in just a sec. And there is probably too much in there for the whole hour that we have. And I want to make sure there's time for questions too. But I don't mind being interrupted. I'm perfectly fine with that. Anytime, if I'm speaking too fast or there's something you have a question about, or you want me to slow down and not go through that section too much, that's fine. And you'll get the slides so that you'll see some of the points if we miss some or you need a reminder. I don't want you to be copying down notes from the slides themselves, okay? Better to pay attention. And I'll also show you a few things, some examples, and we'll even do one little fun thing that you can help me with as we go along. But no, I don't want to give that away just yet. So is it okay if I just share my screen right away so we can jump in?
Absolutely. Yeah, let's rock and roll. Yep.
People have had a full 4 minutes to get on.
There we go. Yeah. Room's still filling up too. We got more people joining every few minutes here. So yeah,
okay.
There's a lot of excitement. Let's get her going.
I'm going to go straight in, make sure this is working and that you can see. So you should be able to see my first slide, right?
Yep, we can see it.
Which says how to skyrocket your sales with your own high converting 5-day challenge.
Yep, looks good. Looks good.
Excellent. Okay. So as I was saying before, a lot of people, a question I hear all the time is, how do I build an audience? I hear it for courses because we sell courses, ready to go courses. And that's one of the biggest, most popular things. And I know, Justin, a lot of your stuff is set up that way with worksheets and slides and the main, you call it a ebook, but it can be the student guide. So it's just a matter of what you call it. But the biggest thing is you might have something like that, but you need someone to sell it to. So that is the biggest challenge I always see. How do I build an audience? How do I build an email list? And you said someone last time talked about building an email list. And then how do I sell something without feeling, kind of sleazy and pushy and salesy, which I don't know anyone who feels really comfortable with that. So challenges are one of the easiest ways to do that, to be selling without feeling like you're being pushy or salesy. And that's what I'm going to walk through today. So I'm going to walk through each of the steps, the key steps, and there are a couple more steps that I may not have time to get to, but again, you'll see in the slides. And I mentioned before that I ran this once as a 5-day challenge about creating 5-day challenges, but we're condensing it all into one. So lots to do. So without further ado, let's hop in. You're in the right place, right? Because you're one of Justin's amazing followers, but also if you want to sell something like a course or something else, an info product with a challenge. So we're going to show you how to do challenges. I'm going to show you some shortcuts for that. And I know you all have an open mind about new ways of doing things as well. If you don't know me already, my backstory is that I was a training consultant, instructional designer for over 30 years. It's probably more like 35 years, I think, where I was creating learning solutions for companies, Fortune 500 companies. And that's basically looking at a strategic problem in a company and then designing a training solution around it. And it was just crazy, you know, clients calling night and day. They expected you to be, I was the consultant, not a full-time employee, but always expecting you to be on call whenever. And I had a family as well, still have that family. And they were 3 young kids, and it was crazy. But going online and doing all of this with courses really gave me the freedom to be able to live and work anywhere in the world. We travel all the time. My husband and I now, we're empty nesters. And Justin, you know, we're always talking like, I'm in Israel today, I'm in Istanbul, I'm in London. Right now I'm in Colorado, where I'm based now. But this is what I've been able to do, building a business online. And I know you guys want to be able to do stuff like that, maybe for other reasons. And that's why building these challenges, using PLR to help do the shortcuts is going to help you. So let's just go in. I have done a 5-day challenge in the past just to show you the kind of conversions you can get with it. So I'm not going to dive into that. It's something you can look at if you want to. It's a free challenge where there's a course and stuff like that, which guides you through. But I'll use that as an example, excuse me, as we go through. And we also talked a little bit about this before. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. Why people love challenges. Because especially 5-day challenges, because they are achievable. So you can actually get something done if there's small things in 5 days. You get kept accountable, and it's not like over a big period of time. So it's actually possible to do that. And it's built in, that accountability, because people are checking in with you. The person who's running the challenge is checking in with you every day, or you have a group that can be supportive. You get tangible results. So long as you set the challenge up carefully so that it is achievable and there's small steps each day, then people see those results right away, small things. It can be a lot of fun. You build in the variety, especially if you have live elements. It makes it a lot of fun and engaging in there. And it's a low risk commitment. So when someone signs up for a 5-day challenge, then they're saying, okay, yeah, I can do this in 5 days. 30 days is a lot to have to commit to. And we started out with a 10-day challenge for our 5-day one and found that we had to cut it down to 5 days. It was just too much for people and too big a commitment. So doing 5 days works out really, really well for that. So here, what I'm going to be going through in our next 45 minutes or so, 5 key steps for setting up the challenge, how to shortcut the content creation. And it's not just about PLR. I'll show you another thing too. And if we have time, I'm going to talk about 2 other steps for maximizing your success as well. All right. And there is a gift at the end. So I'll give you the link for that at the end. Hang on for that. And just a quick note, why people love challenges, also why they're so effective, is we are what we repeatedly do. So excellence then is not an act, but a habit. And that's going to that applies to you as well when you're running a challenge or selling anything, getting on a video or a live stream like this. The more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. So keep that in mind as we go through. So these are the steps we're going through. Step one is going to be defining the goal of your challenge. That's your goal for it. Step two is describing the result. That's what your participants are going to get out of it. Then you create the content. You make it very easy for people to access it. Set up some funnel pages so that people can actually, so there's making it easy to access the content, setting up your funnel pages to get people into your challenge. And then those extra steps for maximizing success are, of course, promoting it so people get to your opt-in page and then going live, how you actually deliver it. So let's just quickly go straight into the first one, which is defining your goal. So that is the most important part, no matter what you are doing in your business, whether you already have something in mind, something you want to sell or something sitting on your computer. The most important part is figuring out your goal, okay? The goal of the challenge and what action you want people to take at the end. So when I say action, it's not what they're getting out of it, but it's what you want them to do. So for an example, it could be your goal is to grow your email list. So this is one way you can build that email list, get people to follow you on social media, boost membership of your community, introduce new people to your coaching and get them to sign up for sessions, even if it's a free session, selling a product or service or a course or something like that. So you can have a promotion at the end. You can be giving a preview of a new product. So giving one small part of it, or even just gathering feedback for marketing. So you find out during the challenge what people's key pain points and challenges are, other things that they're trying to do. So there are lots of different things that can be your goal for getting out of it. This isn't just about selling something. So one example is to lead people to a new product you're offering, but at the same time, capture names and email addresses for your email marketing. So you can have two goals at once. You can be promoting or building an email address or building an audience or doing the marketing research. Think about that. And that goal is going to guide everything else you do in your challenge, all your different decisions about the content, about how you promote it, all those different things, what kind of content to include. That's all important. And that's why you have to start with that goal. And the second part is describing the result that your participants are going to get by the end of the challenge. All right, that's the outcome. So this is important to do for anything that you're selling. It's also going to inform what you put in your marketing materials. This is the benefit, and it has to be something very concrete. This is something we also do with courses, any kind of training, why people should participate in it. What are they going to get out of it? So it should solve a problem, give them a new skill, get them on the road to success. I'll show you some examples as well. It has to be transformative. So this is something you'll hear a lot when people talk about writing sales copy for sales pages, is thinking about that transformation. How are people going to change by the time it's done, whatever kind of course or consuming your product or participating in your challenge. So you have to think about that, even if it's something small, like a 5-day challenge. So yeah, motivation is the art of getting people to do what you want them to do because they want to do it. So that's why that transformation is so important. So some of the most common things people are looking for in terms of transformation: money, right? Freedom, less stress, family, health, progress, finally, if they haven't been making progress. But think about what's important to your audience. So you'll hear these things all the time, these sorts of things when you look in marketing material, financial freedom or less stress, or finally build that email list, or finally sell your first product or get your first coaching client so that you can have passive income. You'll hear all that mix of things. peace of mind. That's something you'll hear a lot, a breakthrough, road to success. But in a challenge, in a 5-day challenge, it has to be something small enough that they can achieve. So for instance, if you are selling something like a course that you want to promote at the end, look at some small transformation that they can achieve in 5 days with a little bit each day. And that's where we'll talk about breaking things down as well.
Hey, Sharon, can I jump in for 1 sec? Just to make this, maybe tie this back to what may resonate with a lot of the Tools Motivation folks is like we have a lot of hot topics. A huge one, obviously, is self-confidence. And we see a lot of people coming to us and they create either a self-confidence course, like kind of generic, or maybe specific for a certain type of follower, right? So that could be a great example is like at the end of the 5-day challenge, your goal is to sell your new self-confidence course for women over 50 or something like that. So the 5-day challenge could just be, try this 5-minute confidence boosting activity on Monday when it comes to having more confidence in your interactions with others. And then Tuesday could be confidence boosting and interaction with your spouse or something like that. Like little things to get them thinking about confidence, but still leaving them wanting more at the end of the 5 days. Is that a good example?
Yes. And I would also add in something about where they're starting from, like what the pain point is. Why do they want to start building their self-confidence? What is it that's starting them, that's getting them in there in the first place? And then how they're going to feel at the end. So if it's something like, they want to feel confident to be able to go out and do networking to grow their business, or and they're afraid to talk to people, do public speaking. It's going to vary so much from audience to audience. Could be going out to go on dates. Where is it coming from? I would get more specific than that, than just building self-confidence in general.
Great. Perfect.
Yeah. So the more specific you can be, the better. And there's a formula you can use, like by the end of the 5 days, you will be able to do this so that, and that's the thing that is missing, the benefit. Why do you want to do it? And that can still be something small. So let's see, what did I have as the example? So this is an example from when we did our 5-day challenge. It was be able to launch your own profitable 5-day challenge so that you can grow your audience for your online course. And you can take it, of course, further than that, as you want to increase your income, finally launch your course, but you can't do that after just 5 days. You can just start growing your audience so that you'll then be able to do a bigger launch, that you can increase your income, or diversify, have a new stream of income, things like that. You can talk about relieving anxiety about whether your course is going to sell, knowing you're going to be able to earn from it from day one because you're growing your audience. Lots of different things like that. So you have to go a little bit deeper. Let's see. So these are just a couple of other examples I've seen for longer ones, like by the end of the 10-day boot camp, you'll have launched your very first online course. That's for something longer. When you complete the 30-day blogging challenge, you'll double your traffic and triple your leads. So those are things where you have the two together. And I think I had some more examples. Yeah, so if you're having trouble, because this is one of the hardest things, the hardest parts, I think, for anyone, whether it comes to marketing or creating some sort of course, or it really comes down to the marketing, but you have to think about it from the very beginning before you create anything. And once you have it, the language you use throughout is going to be kind of obvious to you already. You'll have understood it. So you can dive in and use that 5 whys. I don't know if you've heard of that tool before, but it really helps with digging down to the root cause. So things like, why create a 5-day challenge? Because you can bring in more leads for your courses or whatever you're selling. Why do you want more leads? So you can sell more. Okay, still kind of obvious. Why do you want to sell more? To increase your income. Yeah, lots of people want to do that. Why do you want to increase your income? So you can be pickier about clients you take on. So now you're starting to get a little bit deeper in. Why do you want to be pickier about clients? So that you can have more freedom. So I can have more freedom to do the work I love, which is going to be different, of course, for everyone, but you can see how you have to keep digging deeper into it. All right. Is that clear? I hope that's clear.
Yeah, that looks great.
Yeah, that's really important to do.
And again, folks, you'll be getting a copy of these slides. That was an awesome slide, Sharon. So I'm sure people will probably want to bookmark that one.
Yeah, definitely. So don't worry about writing it down. You will get it. But the thing to keep in mind is you have to have a specific result. Don't be vague about it. And it has to be motivating for people, some sort of benefit in there. But at the same time, it has to be achievable in 5 days and align with your goal. So your goal, whether it's leads or getting people to sign up for something. So it has to be in line with who your target audience is and the goal. And again, this is not right now about your PLR. This is something you have to step back from before you try doing anything with your PLR. And a lot of people make that mistake. They just buy a piece of PLR and say, okay, now what? Now what do I do with it? Step back. What is your goal? You know, what are people going to get out of it? Then you can start applying it and using it, leveraging that content. So let's go straight into step 3, where I think we're going to spend a little bit longer. How are we doing on time? Oh, we're doing well. Okay. So creating the content for the actual challenge. This is something where the PLR is going to come in, and every challenge has to have content that's going to help people learn each day, but not a ton of content, not something overwhelming. So your audience, for instance, if they're really busy people that don't have a lot of time each day, that's even more reason to keep it tight, to keep any videos or live streams to a short period of time and give them small things to do. If they have more time, then you could make it longer as well, but most people are pretty busy and don't want to take out a big chunk of their day. So the content you give them that guides them through is going to determine how successful they are. And there's some basic things that you're going to need. So the essentials, if you have nothing else, give them a worksheet, some sort of download for taking notes or doing whatever it is they need to do. Daily emails with instructions, easy to automate and drip out daily with whatever autoresponder or platform you're using. And some sort of short instructional videos or live streams, and you link to it in the email. That's the basic setup. So you're sending out an email with a link to some sort of live stream or video and a download of a worksheet. That's the minimum. But there is a lot of other stuff you can do, and I've seen all of this done. You can have podcasts or audios people listen to. For instance, if they don't want to watch a video or a live stream, it can be a little audio that they can just, put their AirPods in and head out for a walk and listen to. So especially with things like motivational stuff and self-confidence, that's a good thing to do. You can have the email that links to the audio. You can have it via blog posts, presentation stuff like I'm using with slides, social media prompts. So you can use, if you have a Facebook group, just have prompts each day, case studies you can provide. This is more like instructional stuff that you would provide them to show them examples, interviews. So lots of different things, templates, so giving them templates to work from or other resources. That's all different content that you could be using. But if you haven't done one of these before, and I'm assuming most of you haven't done a challenge, or maybe it hasn't been that successful, stick with something really simple for 5 days. Stick with a small piece of content like that email with a live stream. That is the simplest thing, or an audio. It's going to be the simplest thing for you to do. And actually structuring the material as well. So what you're going to put in. This is, again, where you're starting with that outcome. Remember the result we talked about? You start from there and work backwards and break it into 5 steps. How's that going to break up over the 5 days? making sure there isn't too much on each day. So keeping it really balanced and keeping it simple. So that's how you're going to break it up. That's, there's some instructional design type elements in there, but that's also where some PLR can come in really helpful. So using PLR to save time. So you guys have a source of it. We create the same sort of stuff. Like Justin said, we work on a similar model, and finding the right piece of PLR to use for your challenge is really important, because it has to be something actionable. So Justin, a lot of your stuff comes with worksheets as well. It just needs to be something you can break into 5 steps. It doesn't have to already be in 5 steps. You just have to be able to break it into that. So and if something is too big, you can break it into smaller pieces, or you could pull out a module from something or a chapter from something and just use that, so long as you can break it down. And I'm gonna talk about ChatGPT in a second, but I wanted to show you this because this is just an example that we used. So I'm gonna move over to my screen. So this is, for instance, a report. Can you see this now?
Yep. Yeah, we can see your Word doc.
Okay. So this is a report that I'm using as kind of an example, and we actually made into a short 5-day challenge to show you. And you can see that this is actually only has 4 modules in it. It's a short report. It's like 3,500 words, which is pretty short. And it has 4 modules, but we needed to break it into a 5-day challenge. So what we did is we took the introduction and added, and we actually just kind of broke up 2 of the steps. So let me see where it is. And a lot of the introduction stuff can be a day. So over in my other window, let's see, is it here? Yeah. So over here, if I go into my Google Doc where we put everything, you can see the Google Doc that says 5-day comfort zone challenge.
Yep.
So if we scroll down, you'll see how we took that report and broke it up into 5 days. So we started with a welcome and added an activity there, and then created an activity for each one of the chapters in those reports. Now that report had some already, but you can add in something each day. And then we added a couple emails that are congratulations, and then a follow-up promoting something. So if I go back to that report, you'll see that in this one, there were the action steps. So you could there were 2 in 1. So that's the sort of thing where you can split it up into 2. But if you can't think of any action steps at all, go back here, you can get some help from ChatGPT. If you haven't heard of ChatGPT, you're probably hearing some positive and negative stuff about it. This is an AI tool that people are talking about all over the place. Some people are saying really nasty things about it because they don't understand it. And some people are just loving it. And some people are using it all wrong. So the thing with ChatGPT, which is from OpenAI, is it's all about how you ask it different questions. And it is a tool to help you. So you can use it to come up with ideas for different goals, ideas for activities for your challenge. And you can see on the slide here that I put in some prompts, and I'll show you the actual chat this is from it if I can open it up. But what you can see here is I asked for ideas, and then I said, okay, can you give 5 more ideas to make having a change mindset a daily habit? I wasn't thrilled with the answer, so I made it more specific. Can you adjust them to be more practical and actionable? Something people can do in a few minutes each day. And then can you reword it to have more fun and inspiring wording? So you can use ChatGPT in that way to come up with ideas. And there's lots of other things you can do with it too, like even coming up with title ideas, which makes it really, really useful when you're repurposing some sort of PLR or just trying to come up with ideas for titles, stuff like that. So if I go back into that, here, 3 windows open. And I'm going to go over to ChatGPT. So this is the conversation I had with it to come up with some learning activities. I said, what are some quick activities people can do to learn how to step out of their comfort zone? And I could have said, what are 10 activities? And it gave me a bunch. So it said, here are some quick activities. Take a different route to work or school, try new food or drink, strike up a conversation, say yes to something you would normally say no to. They were okay. And I said, now can you give me 5 more to help someone confront their fears around change? So now we're getting a little vaguer. And said, identify and challenge limiting beliefs, and said, write down any beliefs you have that might be holding you back from embracing change. Then challenge them by asking yourself if they're true or if there's evidence to support them. Often our fears around change are based on limiting beliefs. So that's pretty good. That's a good idea. And it went through all of those. And then I asked it again, give me 5 more about envisioning a future that's free from fear. So those are all things I pulled out of the report, and I said, okay, I need some sort of activity for this because there's no good activity in there. Let me ask and get some ideas. And this is for brainstorming, for getting ideas. So it came up with 5 more activities that they were pretty good. They gave me some more ideas. Never, ever copy paste this stuff, ever. You want to get them as ideas and then put them in your own wording. But you could go pretty far with it. So I said, okay, can you give 5 ideas for exercises you can do to have making a change mindset a daily habit? Came up with some more. Then I said, can you adjust the activities to be more practical? Because they were kind of vague and actionable. So that was the prompt I was telling you before. Set a daily intention, and there's a bunch of stuff in there. And then I asked it to reword it with some more fun and inspiring language. So it said, set a daily mindset mantra. So start each day. So now it's getting into some different language, right? A thankful thought list. So this is inspiring. Can you see how you can use this as a tool? You guys starting to see this?
Yeah, definitely. There's a few folks in the chat just talking about how they love the tool. Val was saying you have to train it like a puppy, but soon you'll be happy with the results. And you kind of showed us an example of that there, Sharon. There's also a couple questions that came in that I think you may be getting to, but I can throw them out there now and you can decide whether or not it's a good time to answer them, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Okay, so the first one was from Charles, basically saying, any suggestions for using a 5-day challenge to feed into a more in-depth program?
Yep. That is the whole point of this.
Yeah.
Is that you're going to take one small part. And if you have a bigger program, one of the things you can do is take a small piece of that. But what you don't want to do is just summarize the whole program in 5 mini parts. That's going to be much more difficult because it does leave people wanting a lot more. So you could take one piece of your larger program and give them some quick wins. Usually what people say with lead magnets in general is the lead magnet is the why and the course is the how. But with a challenge, I don't actually like that model at all, because when people now download something, they want some sort of result from it. They want some sort of how, not just a why. A why, I already know I want something. So try and make it some sort of small win for them that's not going to take over the course. It just leads them into wanting more. Okay. It helps to see some examples, but for instance, let me think if I can think of one. Can you still see the ChatGPT page?
Yeah, we can still see that.
So let me go back to something. So we do this with a lot of our courses. When we launch them, we create a 5-day, we do our lead magnet and then we create a 5-day challenge out of it. So like here's one that's a 5-day challenge, reasons you need a social media strategy. And it goes through these are different reasons, but we give different activities with each one as well. Actually, I don't want to open that. So let me just go back to find another one. So like this one, 5 reasons your online course is not selling. So it's 5 reasons, but also what you can do to fix them. So the reasons are you don't have clear goals. So the activity would be to have them look back at the goal. You're sending people directly to a sales page that doesn't convert. So a small thing to do would be to change something on the sales page. You aren't building a targeted list. So for that, you're not going to, in a challenge, go into a whole thing on list building, but you can have them do something like refocus who their ideal student is, so that they're targeting their list more when they do any kind of list building. You aren't giving prospective customers the chance to get to know you. So again, you're not going to go into a very long how of a ton of different things on helping people get to know you, but you could give like 5 tactics and have them pick one to work on. So that's where they then want to take your course. Technical glitches in your sales process, that's a pretty simple thing. They can do a look through and see where there's a problem. And then that can lead into a bigger course on how to market your online course. So that's just one example of the way you can break things out as well. All right. So long answer to the question.
Okay, and then the second one was from Anna saying, I may have missed it, but how long are the daily sessions? Are they day or evening? I guess this comes down really to the execution of the 5-day challenge. I imagine it's just a personal choice.
I did say something about that before, which is it depends on your audience, because when people are doing a 5-day challenge, if you have a very, very busy audience, you want to keep it small. So it can be as small as you send an email with a little bit of information and then have a 15-minute video or even less,
Right.
a 10-minute video telling them what to do, and then a worksheet so that it could all be done in half an hour or
Right.
an hour at most. If you have an audience that has a little bit more time, then you might go to a live stream that's an hour long and then have another hour of stuff to do. But that's a lot in 5 days for most people who are busy. Usually I would stick with an activity that they can do in maximum half an hour, and so that they're spending no more than an hour a day. Does that make sense? And you can always build a couple extra days in, but when we did something bigger where it was 10 days and people said they didn't have enough time, so we built in other days for action, people just don't complete it. They're just too busy. And then they lose the motivation after a certain length of time.
Yeah,
all right.
That's a great answer. And I'll just quickly echo what Sharon said, especially about the video. If you are going to do this, I know, Sharon, your main point was to just get a challenge done. So if the video is too much for you, obviously, maybe wait for challenge number 2 to do that. But if you are comfortable getting on video and it's not going to delay you, it's going to be huge for branding. Like getting on video and letting people see your face, see the way you speak, interact with you at that level for 5 days in a row, and holding their attention that many days in a row will give you such deep branding. The example I gave Sharon before I turned the recording was 2 years ago, I did a fitness challenge, and it was really well run. And I still follow that guy to this day. He pops up at the top of my news feed. I always notice him. And it's because of that event. And same thing goes when you run live events. If you host a live event, people always remember the host of things. So this 5-day challenge is a great way to kind of solidify yourself in the minds of your audience. So if you can get on video, I really, really strongly recommend it. But if it's too much of a leap for you, still do the challenge, do the video on the next one.
But that's also why I like the live streams a lot.
Yeah.
And I was terrified the first time I did a live stream, absolutely terrified. So I tested it out just on myself. So I went live on Facebook, but made it just private. So I was the only one who could see it, just to practice doing it. And now, of course, I'm comfortable with it and I don't have as many notes that I use. I used to have like everything scripted out. I was so nervous. But the more you do it, it's like I said earlier, the more you do it, it becomes a habit. You get better and better at it. So I really, if you can, step out of your comfort zone and try doing little live streams for 15 minutes or something just to come on. You can do it so it isn't so much answering a lot of questions if you don't feel comfortable being put on the spot. But if you can get on and just talk it through, it's more personal than a video as well. if you can get yourself to do that, because firstly, you really don't have to worry about making mistakes because you're going to do it again. You're going to say and ah, and oh, let me go back to that. It's normal in a live stream. People expect that. Whereas a video, they expect a little bit more polish to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's one of the things. Yeah, that's one of the reasons.
Last thing, Sharon, before you continue, this is an awesome comment that just came in right now from Melanie, kind of like solidifying what you said. Melanie did her first 5-day brain hack challenge in December with my first Facebook Lives, each under 15 minutes. My second one is next week. Feel the fear and do it anyway. Exactly right. Way to go, Melanie. That's awesome.
Yeah, that is. It is terrifying.
That's how you do it, though. That's how you do it. You go for it. You put yourself out there and you learn.
And if you have someone you can do it with, that really helps a lot too. To have some sort of conversation. I used to do that a lot with somebody else, and we would just kind of go back and forth. But just do it. Just do it.
Go for it.
All right, let me go back and see where we were. And I'm fine interrupting whenever. That's fine.
Okay, great.
Okay. So we were talking about ChatGPT, lots and stuff we could do there. You have to write the emails. So some things come with emails already, but you can take the titles. If you're using some PLR, you can just take the titles from each one, like which I'll show you again. Like here in this, I have a screenshot here. We just took the problem with the status quo as the title of the email. And then you don't have to have a ton. You can take a little bit of text from the PLR and put that into the email. So have your little welcome. Hey, congrats. You did the first day. Now we're going to talk about this and you're going to do this. And here's a little, background information, and join me on the live stream. Watch this video. Here's a link to the community. So if you can have a little community on Facebook or whatever, put people into there as well. And you can put worksheet downloads in the community. So I'll talk about where to put stuff in a second, but that's one way to do it. And just remind people of what they need to do. And I mentioned ChatGPT again here, just because it's something you could play with. I didn't get a lot of great results with asking it to summarize stuff into an email, but that's partly because, again, it's the questions you ask it. And I didn't ask it the right questions. So I didn't get great results, but give it a try. Oh, I was going to show you what the emails look like from that one. Where am I? Here. Go back. Here. So for an example, so we just took, there was a welcome, we added an exercise. So the problem with the status quo is showing you, we took that from the first chapter. Welcome to day 1. Actually, it's day 2. So that's wrong, but I'll correct it. Yesterday, I talked about the importance of joining in. I love all the corrections I'm finding as we go through here. Grammarly, thank you. Even it feels awkward. So some of this stuff is from the actual course book, and then we put in the exercise. Here's an exercise to get you started. Here's the live stream link and a little summary. See you there. Easy, doesn't have to be long. And then from the second one, developed a mindset for change. It looks like I have to make some edits to this, but this is a Google Doc, so it doesn't matter. Yesterday, I talked about identifying your fear. So summarize what you did the day before. So you have your intro, then take a little bit of information from your PLR, put in the exercise, join me on the live stream, download the worksheet. You can have a link to a worksheet. So just adjust it based on how you're going to do yours. All right. So that's what they might look like as well. Oh, it looks like I corrected some of the rest. Don't you love seeing me edit as we go? All right, let me go back to the slides. No comments.
Doing it on the fly, just as you said, Sharon. You're practicing what you preach.
It's okay. I'm going to talk at the end about how you should always test it as well. And no matter how many times I test it, there's always something. And somebody will come back and say, you had a typo here on the 5th paragraph in the 2nd sentence where you forgot to put a comma. Usually it's more in a heading where you completely miss it.
Also, Sharon, just so you're
All
aware,
right.
I know you have a roughly hard stop at the top of the hour. It's
Ooh.
1:46 now. You got about 14 minutes, so I'm not sure how much time you need, Linda.
All right, I'll try and skim through some of this because, yeah, I have a lot and I just keep going on. Slides. I'm demoing to you basically now that I use Canva. I also do PowerPoint, and you can share your screen on that. I happen to be using Canva, and you could use ChatGPT to ask you to outline, or to ask it to outline slide points for just paste in, a couple modules or something. There's a limit to how much you can paste in, but you can paste in stuff. And then make sure you customize, if you're using slides from PLR, make sure you customize them, maybe in the notes, putting some of your own stories and examples as you go. And you could use their templates also. And then I was saying, make sure everything's actionable. And you're always telling people, so I don't think I need to repeat that again. Idea coupled with action will never get any bigger than the brain cell it occupied. I love that. I just like that quote. So example, I kind of gave you an example, but let me just show you what we had. So in mine, still kept it very simple. So day one was download the content that you're going to need and get it organized on your computer. And the content we gave was an email, went to a video, and then there was a guide with links for downloads to resources. So we gave them the guide right up front and a workbook right up front for all the different days versus dripping it out, because I want people to have everything. Second day, our challenge was to take an existing PLR mini course and quickly get it up online. So the second day was branding. Sent them an email, sent them to a video. We also provided an extra tech tutorial, which we already had. So if you can repurpose stuff you already have, that's another really good thing to do. Record the videos. All we did is an email, giving them an explanatory video. Set up your course online, email, explanatory video, and then make quick sales was the next action step. Email, video, plus some extra ideas, resources, and then call to action at the end, which was, you don't have to create your course from scratch, or here's some other things that you can do, start your next course. I don't even remember what the exact wording was, but kept it really, really simple with the number of steps. And we could always go back and add some extra resources. But the purpose of mine was to help new customers get their course online really quickly. It wasn't as much as a lead generation, which I know a lot of people want to do as well. A lot of you want to do. We talked about some content shortcuts, so keeping it simple. I'm not going to do a lot on that. I talked about some tools. We don't need to go through all of this. Zoom, StreamYard, Snagit, Canva, Office, all these different things. Canva's big, makes things really easy.
Couple of techie ones here, Sharon, real quick.
Yep.
Martin's asking, can PowerPoint be turned into video?
Yep. PowerPoint
several
can
ways to do that.
easily.
Yeah.
I've used PowerPoint a lot for video. There's a bunch of different ways you can use it. You can do it right inside PowerPoint. They have a recording feature. I don't love their recording feature, but you can do it on there. I like doing it with a screen recording software. Yep. So I use
Camtasia or ScreenFlow or something like that.
But Canva is actually really easy to record in now, and you can use your PowerPoint and import it to Canva. So all you do is, if you have used Canva, it's free. You just take your file, drag it into the main dashboard, and you now have your PowerPoint in Canva. And you could do more design changes and then record right in there, and it'll create a video.
Yeah, it's amazing between Canva and Google Docs. It replaces almost all the software we were using like 10 years ago. It's crazy. Linda was asking, what did you use to record your videos and where did you put them for attendees to access? I guess specifically in your example.
So I'll show you where I put mine. The way I recorded, I'm going to show you that in a sec, but the way I recorded it, I was doing it with someone else and we used Zoom. So because you can record your Zoom like Justin's doing now. Yep. And we had the two of us on camera and we just talked through everything. Because it's so easy to share your screen when you're in Zoom. And we were going back and forth between us being on camera to sharing the screen and alternating. So that was the way we did that one. I've done that on Demio as well, which I don't really use anymore, which is webinar software, because you can get a recording of that. And StreamYard, I've done that on too, if you want to, because you can do StreamYard, which is for live streaming. It's a live streaming platform that connects to various things like YouTube and LinkedIn, but you can use it just to record. So I've done recordings that way too, for something like a challenge or some sort of training. I just get on and I say, I'm just doing a recording. That's
excellent. Yeah. So a
Yeah.
lot of options there, folks. Just maybe try a few
Yeah.
out, see what you like.
Yeah, I do love Snagit though.
Cool.
All right. So you were asking about where to actually put it. So the way I did mine is I used New Zenler, which is a course platform, because I wanted to have everything in one place as a kind of curriculum where it's very easy to upload things and people can access it. I just made it a free course, basically, because a 5-day challenge is basically a course. It's a mini course because you're giving them content and something to do every day. So that's the platform I use. And this is what it looks like, where people can click on each day and see what's going on. And they can open each one. And other options, the first time I did the challenge, I used a Facebook group. It's called a social learning group. I don't know if they still call it that. They're always changing stuff. Drives me crazy, which is another reason I don't like using them for this sort of thing. If you're doing your first one, that's perfectly fine to do it in a Facebook group and just send people to that group, make it private so that they have to sign up and then get a link in an email to the group. So I'll show you the funnel pages to set up, but you really want to make sure you're always getting them on your email list. And then you can send them to group. You could have a Trello board. We actually did that once too, where each day was a different column in the Trello board that told them the steps of what to do on that day of the challenge. So then it was just one place where all the information was, and we sent them to the link each day in the email to that day of the Trello board. I have not tried Slack, but I know people have done that just to be able to do conversations. You could do the one I did last year for someone else was Zoom. So it was just a Zoom link that people got each day. And we just got on and did it that way. And then they got their recordings. I think the recordings were actually set up in New Zenler though, to be able to get them afterwards. So you still need somewhere to put those. So those are some different options. I did really enjoy using New Zenler though, and having one place to put everything. And they have a free option. Funnel pages. So I know we're moving along. I perfectly
7
fine to
minutes.
go longer. It's like countdown. Funnel pages, you need to have, I'll show you the things you need to have, because you need to make the registration really, really easy, which is also why I used New Zenler. This is the kind of layout it is. This is just the way it looks in New Zenler, but there are other platforms you can use. Thrive Architect is a page builder. It just gets a little more complicated when you're trying to link up different services. So you need a sales page, which is your challenge sales page, a checkout page, even though if it's free, a thank you page, and then where they're going to actually access the materials. So that will be different for each, but the key pages that you're creating are the sales page, or this challenge sign up page, the checkout page, and the thank you page. Try not to use the generic ones. So here's an example of just a really simple page. You'll get this slide, so you'll be able to see the things that are included on it, but and you can outsource it as well. So I know we're trying to be quick, but let me show you what that page looked like. So this is the one in New Zenler, really, really simple. Let's just start the challenge. It gives really quick overview, the curriculum. This was all built in, little bio, a little testimonial, sign up. It's free, really, really simple.
Mm-hmm.
I also did something where I used lead pages, and I used one of their templates because I love having a template to use. I use Thrive Architect now too, a lot on our site, but big hero header with the real summary, and then you can add even more detail. Here's what you get, ready to get started. If you have some testimonials after you've done the first one, make sure you ask for testimonials, bio, and you're done. You can add an extra testimonial. So it doesn't have to be like this, but if you can use a template, you're going to have a real nice looking one like this. Where are my slides? Where are my slides? There are my slides. Okay. So that's a simple page. Like I said, I did that one in New Zenler, and then I did this one in Lead Pages, Thrive Architect, whatever you use, but something that looks pretty. And they both went to this checkout page. So this was in New Zenler. This is as a free product. When I did it once before, how did I do it? I'm trying to remember the past one because I know somebody's going to ask me. I'm trying to anticipate. If you don't want to use this sort of platform, I think what we did is we just did an opt-in page. So it didn't have that kind of checkout button. It was just an opt-in page like for any lead magnet. And then, like I said, with the Trello and stuff, they don't have to do a checkout or anything like that. They just get that confirmation email, like, yeah, double opt-in. And then your first email sends them a link to whatever they're going to be doing, to wherever you're going to be hosting it, whether it's just on a Trello board or a Facebook group or somewhere else, right? So you don't have to do this kind of setup, but it would be the same setup as any kind of lead magnet. And hopefully, Justin, in the previous training, somebody talked about that, about, the flow of opt-ins and stuff.
We have, it's been an ongoing theme for years, but yeah, I mean, that's something that everybody, you kind of have to learn that depending on the technology you choose. Sharon, I'll just quickly read some of the things that came in here. Just Laura was saying I use CRM, my CRM Keep for those funnels. It's awesome. And then she also said, oh, I lost it there. This is so helpful. Not sure the pages I've created have all of those elements. That was the previous window you were showing. So she's happy to see that. Val is saying, did you test the results between Thrive and New Zenler?
No.
No, so you probably just ran them separately.
Yeah.
And then Gail, some questions about New Zenler. Assume New Zenler is similar to Thinkific. Yeah, I think it's similar to Thinkific, Teachable, all those kind of course delivery platforms.
Yeah.
Melanie's saying the platform I love for brain-friendly, engaging options you can include in courses is Experienceify. You can learn more. Okay, there's a link there if anybody wants to check that out. And then some more people just saying great information, and people are super happy and pumped. So there you go.
Okay. Well, I won't go through the whole flow thing because it is based on what kind of setup you have for email list, and have a thank you page. If you can get yourself on video and say thank you, wow, I was really smiling on that one, then definitely try and do that. All right. And automating, if you have the autoresponder, I use ActiveCampaign like you do as well, Justin, and you just set up that automation so that it goes every day, and every day a recap, and then have a couple extra. And, it's triggered by whatever your opt-in page settings are. So this is the key. This is the central thing to automate it.
Your autoresponder or CRM, whatever you want to call it, typically autoresponder. Once you have that, all the other stuff you could host it on private YouTube pages if you want. Like, none of the technology needs to be all that complex. But the autoresponder is an absolute must, because the email address, you need the email list. That's really the main idea here.
Exactly. You want that email list, and you can send any information once you have it. Test it, test it, test it, test it. I don't think I need to say that one more time. Now, those extra 2 steps I was talking about that I didn't think we'd have time to get to, I was correct, but I do want to just show one thing on this step 6, which is promoting it, which is that you want to share it everywhere, absolutely everywhere. And that's how you're going to get people in. If you already have a list, you're going to email it to your list. In your email signature, so anytime somebody emails you, your social media headers, so you can have it right, I'll show you a picture, right in the social media header, your profiles, your group descriptions, your bio. So anytime you're a guest on an interview or a podcast or something, put it in there. In current emails, if you don't have an audience at all, social media is going to be a good place, and any kind of partnering. So your homepage, if you have a course platform there, website menu, blog sidebar, about page, resources page, affiliates, friends, your mom. Yeah, my mom did share it. Absolutely everywhere. So you can just see some of the examples of what we did. We had it in a course platform. I had it on the website. My email signature, I used Wise Stamp, so I could put it in there on the menu. It was absolutely everywhere. All right. So I just wanted to quickly cover that. And then don't overthink it. Please use what you already have. Everybody, several people said they already have some of these tools that they can use. And then going live, I'm going to let you guys look at that on your own with the slides, because this is really tips about when you're delivering your challenge. So I'm just going to skim through so you can see what you can download. It's all about your participation, preparation, things we talked about a little bit before, you know, what you want to achieve. So if you're nervous about any kind of going live, the notes in here are going to help you. And you can see here, this is what I'm using right now. I have Canva with my notes and 2 monitors. This is why I love having 2 monitors. And just get a cheap one on Amazon and set it up, attach it to your laptop, and you'll be able to have your notes on one screen and slides on the other if you're presenting. And anticipate questions as best you can. Every time you run it, you're going to know more about the questions. And we did mention it was okay to pre-record, like doing video. If you have assignments, review that. Prep, but be flexible. So I've gone off on various tangents as we've gone through this, based on questions. So, and interaction. So this is really the last thing I want to point out, which is it is important to try and have interaction. That's why I love the live stream. Even if it's just a little Q&A time, people are getting a video and an email. Try to have some sort of interaction and practice with your tech as well. Literally. That is everything. So I wanted to leave time for questions. And I also wanted to make sure you have this link, which is for that. I showed you that little bit of that, how we repurposed that report on how to step out of your comfort zone and made it into a challenge. So you're definitely going to want to grab that, because it's the information's in a Google Doc. I corrected a couple typos as we went. And there are links. There's also at the end of that Google Doc some copy that you can use for an opt-in page, and some other stuff, and also links to some Canva templates that you can use, like for worksheets and slides.
Sharon, I also popped, I had my own cloaked link of it as well. I just popped that in the chat if anybody doesn't want to type it in. It's the same link, folks. It's the 5-day comfort zone challenge.
I think this may be your link. So
yeah, but I just because I can't. There we go. Look at that. Just in case people want to click it right from the chat. Sharon, I know you. Well, I mean, if you can stay a couple more minutes, that's great. I know you had another appointment. I just wanted to read you a couple things here, because there's been some awesome feedback coming in. Great information. Thank you. That's from Glenn. I came in late, so I'm really excited to see the recording and the slides as well, which we'll be sending out. Great information, Sharon. Really appreciate these TFM trainings. Everyone I've had the opportunity to attend has been very informative and inspiring. Love your training. No fluff. Thanks, Sharon and Justin. Great information. Can't wait to see the entire replay since I was late. Love this. Wow, this was great. Everyone can benefit from this presentation. Absolutely, Patricia. Thank you for that comment. More and more here. Oh, this one, I have to read this one. This is like a testimonial, Sharon. You want to screenshot this one. Marine's saying, Sharon, I've purchased your courses prior to today and have always been very pleased. As expected, today's training has been perfect. Always learn great information from you. Thank you so much, Marine, for leaving that great comment for Sharon. And it's very true. Thank you
so much. Thank you so much. Where is that? Okay. You'll have
all
to
in the chat. I'm going to stop reading it because I think you might have to go. This has been amazing. Yeah, I mean, it just goes on. Thank you, everybody. The feedback is also super helpful. So I'm going to keep popping that link in here just to make it easier. The slides and the recording will be sent out later. So don't worry if you missed anything, that will be included in the emails. Definitely hop in on Sharon's free gift there. Not only going to get the great content, but you'll be on her list. And being on her list is super important, because you're going to get tons of amazing information all the time. I never ever can go wrong, Sharon, recommending Content Sparks. That there's never been a single complaint or error or issue that to ever come back. It's always thank you letters and appreciation for sharing Sharon's stuff. So we're going to continue to do that for as long as we're in business, because why not? Her material is absolutely amazing. Tools for Motivation, we don't just promote Sharon. We're a customer. We buy a lot of her products. We repurpose them into our own trainings because the information works. It's actually good, really good, high quality content that anybody can learn from. And that's when you know you have a winner. So Sharon, thanks again. The comments say everything. I don't need to say anything else. The comments have said it all. You nailed it, knocked it out of the park. So awesome job here. I don't know if you wanted to say anything else, because I know you.
I'm just looking to say, no, that's okay. I can spend a few more minutes. I have a few more minutes.
Justin, I'm sorry to jump in. I know you are host, but may I make a comment to you and Sharon, please, as a testimony, a verbal. So again, I don't mean to be a fanboy. I started out at the beginning here joking, saying what a way to end this week. And it's not even Friday yet, but end it here because this is awesome. But I think I speak for so many when I say this to Justin and Sharon. Even in this presentation and every bit of value that Justin has brought us with Tools for Motivation, you can just feel the passion that you bring, the instructional piece for folks. It isn't just, you, of course you have a business to run, but it feels so much beyond that. And you know that your success is also contingent on everybody else's success. And just like this presentation today, Sharon, you probably could have gone another 2 hours, you know, because you just genuinely, both you and Justin, you really believe in people. And that's why I think we continue to be loyal customers to you both, because we know that when we get a product, you didn't skimp corners just because. You meant it with the highest of quality. And I'm sorry, I needed to say that to you both, because I followed you both for many years, and it's just, thank you both.
Thank you. That was so
Thanks,
great to
James.
hear.
That was really nice of you to say that.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's awesome. And it was also on the recording.
Yeah. And it was really motivational.
Might have to snip that one out for the testimonials page. So no, thanks, James. That was really great. And and yeah, at the end of the day here, Sharon, I think you've really inspired a lot of people to look at challenges as a genuine way of building your list and applying it to their lives. Like the whole time you're going through it, I'm thinking like, I've got a personal trainer friend who could use this. I know a financial guy. Like, it's not just for business or self-help. Like this could apply to so many different niches and models. So really powerful info here.
Yeah, definitely. And the key is just doing one once, and then you see, because the first one we started with had problems, definitely had problems, but we learned from it. So that's another reason to try and get over the whole live stream thing, because the first one's not going to be your final one or your next one. It takes some practice, and that's how you learn. And same with any kind of courses and stuff too. That was like the biggest thing, the biggest turning point for me in all of this and building the business was getting over my own fears of like video and then live stream and stuff. And I think that's still a challenge for a lot of people, and it's taking a long time. And I still get nervous every time I have to get on.
Yeah.
As well. Yeah.
Yeah. It's how it goes.
I'm looking at the comments.
Yeah.
I love to see friendly competitors working together. The mutual. I don't think of ourselves as competitors. To be honest.
No, it's funny how that we're like, people talk about competition a lot of it. It's not really like that. Like there's so many PLR sellers that it may appear we're in direct competition with each other, but we just everybody offers something different. So, and I always feel like, well, if people like buying Tools for Motivation stuff, then they're probably also going to like sharing stuff. So it's like, it's not like there's any limit here. Like, if you like it, great. If not, that's cool too. But like, I'm going to share it with you because it might be of benefit. And that's why we're also sharing. I know you're very stringent about this as well. We're also careful of who we share. So it's not like I just have any random guest on. It's people that have passed the test and we've been dealing with for a long time. And they kind of vibe. So Sharon, that's why you and I get along so well, because again, what James was saying, value first. And I know a lot of you folks that are here also run your businesses that way. And I think that's why this sort of Tools Motivation community, and also sharing your community, why these sessions go so well, is because we all kind of believe in the same thing, and that's just so great. So I'm going to stop the recording, but for those of you here live, I'm going to hang around for another 5 or 10 minutes if there's any more questions. I know there's a few tacky ones there we can hit. For those of you on the replay, hope to see you on the live one next in the future. And thanks for watching. If you do have any questions for Sharon and her team, please send those into our help desk at Tools for Motivation, or go to our website, but we'll definitely be happy to pass those on. Sharon, thank you again. Virtual round of applause. That was awesome. Look forward to seeing everyone on the next one.